कितना खौफ होता है बजट के उस ब्रीफकेस में, पूछ उन परिंदों से जो टैक्स रिफॉर्म की आशा पे उड़ते फिरते थे। This budget, Mr. Chairman, has much to disappoint the Aam Aadmi, frustrate the economist, and prove a mixed bag for the politician. This budget falls between two stools, Mr. Chairman, between sending reassuring signals to the ratings agencies abroad and sending even more reassuring signals to the voters at home. In other words, it tries to satisfy both Modi's interests and Moody's interests. The revenue expenditure balance sheet is not encouraging. So oil prices drop, excise duties go up, the Aam Aadmi in India gets no benefits, while people in the rest of the world are saving at the petrol pump. जैसे गालिब शायद लिख सकता था, हजारों ख्वाहिशों ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, हम चले थे सस्ता पेट्रोल लेने, लौटे टैक्स का बोझ लिए। पिछले साल आपने तो सर्विस टैक्स 12% से 14% तक कर दिया था, उसके बाद 0.5% स्वच्छ भारत सेस भी लागू किया और इस साल 0.5% कृषि कल्याण सेस लगा दिया है। अच्छा, मैं केरला से होते हुए भी एक हिंदी मुहावरा जानता हूं कि घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर। लेकिन आजकल इन सरकार की वजह से महंगाई इतनी बढ़ गई है कि घर की दाल भी मुर्गी बराबर हो गया। The black into white scheme of the government has identified only 3,770 crores of undisclosed foreign assets, which boils down to about 30 rupees for every Indian instead of the 15 lakhs per person promised to us. But of course, we have been informed by a senior leader of the BJP that this is only a jumla. We shouldn't take this figure too seriously. Now, there are some positives, so I don't want to stand here and only say negatives about the budget. We welcome the increased allocations for Swachh Bharat. I may point out that so far, the allocations of Swachh Bharat have been below the levels of the UPA sanitation budgets. Manrega, the finance minister said it was the highest ever allocation. It's not. It is still below the 2010-11 levels of the Manrega budget of UPA.
This is the first budget after a decade where the revised estimates are higher than the budget estimates.
So when we see you actually spending that money, we will accept your point with pleasure, Mr. Finance Minister. And as a member of the previous government, I couldn't help feeling vindicated to see the government embracing UPA ideas that it had earlier bitterly opposed, from strengthening the Aadhaar platform to Manrega itself, to welcoming 100% FDI in food processing. Many of Mr. Jaitley's budgetary cuts are a matter of grave concern. Food security is down by 5,000 crores. Fertiliser subsidies cut by 2,000 crores. Higher education, now there, we had already objected last year when for 5 new IITs, he had allotted 1,000 crores. We said by any yardstick, this is not enough. There is certain rules to be followed for how much it costs to set up an IIT. Ministry of Minority Affairs, cut. Ministry of Women and Child Development, cut again. The Nirbhaya Fund has been reduced from 1,000 crores to just 500 crores, even though of the 31 sanctioned one-stop crisis centers, only 8 have become operational. The only progress has been in renaming the scheme as BharatNet. We often said this is not a game-changing government, it's a name-changing government. Sare naam badal diye. And I might say, Jaitley Sahab, this is the first time in living memory, I've asked many senior colleagues who've been here longer, that a finance minister has not even mentioned the defense allocation for the entire current fiscal year in his speech. Now, the Prime Minister said that he saw this budget as an examination. In this case, his report card will have to say, must try harder. Pradhan Mantri man ki baat karte hain, Vitt Mantri dhan ki baat karte hain, lekin kabhi bhi is sarkar jan ki baat kab karegi? What will be the effect of all this on the rupee? During the election campaign, Mr. Modi was withering about the decline in the value of the rupee. But it's fallen 16.5% on his watch. The overall trend is that it seems to be well on the way to crossing all numbers and joining the BJP's Marg Darshak Mandal. The last budget of the UPA, Mr. Modi wrote an article in the Economic Times. And he wrote saying this budget is piecemeal, UPA wants to play safe. He had repeatedly mocked the UPA for not thinking big. It's all the more disappointing that this budget has also failed to think big, tried to play it safe, and approach the country's economic challenges piecemeal. Jaitley ji, the joke going around is that this is a good budget only for the Aadhaar card holding BD smoker in need of dialysis, who lost his degree certificate and plans to launch a loss-making startup in a Gram Panchayat with Winrega funds. For everybody else, it's a huge disappointment. As Ghalib has observed, this time it's really him and not my version of Ghalib. बुझ जाते हैं दिए कभी तेल की कमी से भी, हर बार कसूर हवा के झोंकों का नहीं होता. This is what has happened to our country. कसूर किसी और का नहीं है भाई साहब, आपकी सरकार में ही तेल की कमी है. जय हिंद मिस्टर चेयरमैन.